Today at the Climbing Depot in Sheffield, I'll be showing you my secret 3-step visualization technique for successful flash attempts and improving my climbing overall. So I've taken a yogic approach, and it can be fairly challenging due to the level of concentration that is required. So don't worry if it takes you quite a few sessions to build this up. Start off with the first step for a few sessions, then you might start adding the second, and then the third. The first step I call examination and imagination. So this involves looking at all the holds on the problem, having a look at them from all angles, and it's feeling, so it's imagination, so it's feeling what the holds would be like to hold even if you don't touch them. So when you're doing this, it's about actually engaging your muscles, squeezing your core as if you're trying to stay on the wall when you are holding them, and imagining in your head the angle that you're going to hold it, the texture of the hold, perhaps which direction you're going to have to pull in for the force. You can think about what parts of your fingers are going to touch a hold, whether it's a crimp, a drag, etc. So it's important not to rush this step, so take your time, and you might find you're not quite sure how you might hold a hold. So in this case, just take your time and think about a few alternatives, and that way you'll be more prepared when you get there on the climb. So step 2 is called external to internal scanning. So what this means is we take a step back, we sit down. Then we look at all the holds where they are on the wall and we visualize their position. Then we close our eyes, and in our head we replicate what we've just looked at. So this can be quite tricky, and you want to go one hold at a time and ensure you know exactly where it is on the wall. So this might mean you open and close your eyes a few times to double check if any of the holds look a bit hazy. But with practice, you can make the holds look crystal clear in your head. The third step, which is potentially the crux, is the actual visualization of yourself climbing it. So you can do this with the eyes closed, you can do with the exercise with them open. You can make any hand and feet movements if you want. You could lie on your back and add in the actions as well. For our purposes, we're thinking about the visualization of the move. So it's about being able to really clearly see what you're going to do on each move before you get there. So initially, working with the hands is often the easiest option, so you can just visualize which way you're going to move your hands, in which order, until you get to the top in your head, and then you can add in the feet. So for me, this is the trickier bit. So you find your hand holds, then you add in each foot movement, and you do this until you get to the top in your head, which can take quite a bit of time. So if you're on the wall for say 30 seconds and you climb the climb, a visualization like this will take a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and it can be quite mentally tiring, so you might not want to do this too many times throughout a session. Then the key to making it really successful is combining it all up and actually feeling the action. So like you did at the start, when you imagined what the holds would feel like, we engaged the muscles and engaged the core. We should be doing this now when we're visualizing the movements. We want to stay quite nice and engaged and actually like feeling the move, which might take a bit of time, and at the start you just imagine it. That's absolutely fine. Then the fourth bonus step is when you send the climb, you remember the hands and the foot movements that you made and compare that to your inner visualization. Did you get it right? Did you actually climb the climb the way you visualized it, or did you make any different sequences throughout? So this is really good reflective learning that builds our intrinsic awareness of how we climb. And when we do this, video recording yourself climbing can be really useful, and you can see where your movement gets maybe a bit slower, or you're not quite so sure, and where you're more confident on the moves. I would expect when you're more confident in the moves, that's when your visualization has matched up to your movement.